Hello, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. So, just wanted to get back on here and talk more about my journey to Vietnam. So, wanted to talk a little bit about employment stuff and the process of that with the certain circumstances of 2021 and COVID stuff. So basically in Vietnam right now, only experts are allowed to enter, or Vietnamese citizens. That's pretty much it. So we're gonna briefly talk about that if you're interested, and so let's get on with the video. Right, so for employment in Vietnam, so the thing I'm doing here is I am going to be sponsored to enter into Vietnam. And what does that mean? So basically you need a visa to enter. And since the borders aren't actually open for you to enter into Vietnam, all countries are not allowed to enter Vietnam, okay? You're only allowed to enter if you are an expert of some sort. And that is defined by the Vietnamese government, but teachers are one of them, business people, things like that. So they're only allowing a very limited amount of people to enter Vietnam on the expert work visa. So this is basically what's happening right now. So with that, I have been speaking with a recruiter that helps bring teachers in to teach in Vietnam. And I've been speaking with them since last year, September 2020, something like that. So I've been speaking with them a long time because now it's 2021. And by the time it's September 2021, I should be in Vietnam. So I've been speaking with this company, this recruiter, for a long time. There are many different companies out there that will help and sponsor you to enter into Vietnam. But my recommendation is make sure you do lots of research and go with like the bigger companies that are very well known, because you'll have a more reputable company. And so yeah, that's just my piece of advice for that. The really cool thing about my employment is, so I've been speaking with this recruiter, this company, for about a year basically, and so I trust them, and I've read so many reviews about their company and done tons of research on all of that, so I feel very comfortable with my decision to keep exploring that option of teaching again and getting that process started. So there are a lot of things that you have to do right now to teach English because of the circumstances. But the thing is, like, if it's something that's really worth it for you, then going through all of those different barriers would be worth it for you. So it just depends on what you want. But for me, I think it's worth it to go back to teaching again. I had never felt so free, so happy, so alive, and as a person it's really made me grow because of learning different perspectives, different cultures, all of that. I mean, that's just indescribable, and that's what a lot of people don't understand about why people love traveling. But the ones who are the travelers that get it, hello, welcome. We understand each other. So yeah, and I think teaching is an indescribable thing as well. It's so impactful, and that in itself is very indescribable and just inspiring. So that's why for me I think it's very much worth it to go through all of these barriers and long visa processes and sponsoring to enter into Vietnam right now. So it's worth it for me. You trust and you've done tons of research about them, and you are looking to enter to teach in Vietnam. So I've actually been speaking, this is not sponsored whatsoever, I have been speaking for almost the whole entire year with TESL abroad in Vietnam. That's who I've been speaking with, and I'm going to be hired with one of the biggest language center companies in Vietnam. It's ILA. Yeah, so definitely do your research, but it's definitely possible to enter Vietnam on the expert work visa as a teacher. There's a lot of things that you have to go through realistically. It's never been like this before, but we are living in different times now, and that is that. So things I've had to do so far is like I've been speaking with this recruiter, this company, since like September of 2020. I did my whole interview process, application process, like where my experience is as a teacher, the age group I prefer, all of that. And then the recruiter got me interviews for different companies to teach at. So this was all the way back in September of last year. And that's when I was actually in Thailand. The reason I was doing interviews for Vietnam is because I was having visa problems in Thailand, so I needed to see my options. And so the process with, like, you know, a recruiter in a company to help sponsor you is they'll help you along the way. So they'll get to know you, your qualifications on teaching. So you'll need like a bachelor's degree, native speaker, teaching certificate, TEFL or TESL, experience teaching, age preference of who you would like to teach. That's kind of the gist of it. Then they'll help get you interviews for schools, for prospective employers for you. And then you will do the interviews with the schools. Their interviews are kind of similar to job interviews like in the US. You're asked all of the questions that you can expect to be asked about, like your qualifications, your experiences as a teacher, how you lesson plan, what is your philosophy for teaching, challenges you've had along the way, how do you discipline your children, all of these types of questions. The interview process can be very intense, I guess. It's not, maybe, it's just, it is more intense than people think it is, the interview process, especially if you're going to be working at some of the really big international, well-known companies in Vietnam. This goes for teaching in general as a second language. But yeah, it's competitive. It really is. So that's just kind of like, you know, the whole process of what that kind of is like. So after I had done those interviews, because I had done these a year ago, basically, I was accepted to teach in Vietnam, but then at the time it wasn't the time anymore. I had gotten my visa to continue teaching in Thailand, so I had done that. And now obviously I'm back in the US. But yeah, so it just wasn't the time, but now the time is the time, and I'm going to Vietnam to become an ESL teacher. Woo! So the time is the time now. So with all of the stuff that's been going on with COVID and blah, 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 like now I'm getting all of this ready again. So this employer, the recruiter from TESL abroad, she has stayed in contact with me, and I told her I was still interested to go into Vietnam. I've just been back in the US, but I really want to go back to teaching abroad again. I've been saving up my money, all that, and so then she gave me the great news that a big company, a big language center in Vietnam is going to sponsor to help with my cost to enter into the country. So that is amazing news. So when I heard that, I was like, yes, all right, let's get the ball rolling. So then I've been doing all this paperwork stuff to start the process to go to Vietnam. So I'll do a separate video about visa stuff later on, but I'm just talking about employment for now. So yeah, I'll do a video about that later. But so with getting the job and everything, I had to do 2 interviews, I guess. So basically first I had reached out to the recruiter from the TESL abroad in Vietnam. The recruiter, I had been speaking with her, many video chats, many Skype, phone calls, all of that, messaging, emails about who I am, what kind of teaching experience I have, and the different schools and options and stuff. And then she looks into her network of schools to put me as a prospective teacher for them. And then she helps prepare you for the interviews and all of that. And then you do your interviews for the school. So it's a very long process for sure, but it's really great what they're doing. She's been so extremely helpful, and the school that I did the interview for, it's actually a language center. It's a really big one in Vietnam, so that makes me feel really good because you can, do all the research, look at all this stuff, and lots of other people have said it's a really great place to teach at, so that's all good. And yeah, so basically right now I'm kind of in like a process moment. It's a big process to get all this stuff sorted for your employment abroad to go to teaching again. But I mean, I've already got my degree and my teaching certificate and all of that, but different countries have different requirements, so I am in the process of getting my documents notarized in the USA. So that's a whole process. So first I'm getting them notarized and all of that, and then I'll have to send it off to the Vietnam embassy, background checks, things like that, and yeah. Condensing my stuff down, packing, researching. Yeah, that's kind of like the stuff you do while you're waiting for employment abroad again. So yeah, that's kind of the process. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going in this conversation because I feel like I'm kind of rambling at this point. I don't know. Oh, other things. Yeah, also to prepare myself, I decided for myself that I wanted to get the vaccine to make it easier for me to travel. I understand people have different viewpoints on that, but my decision was to get the vaccine, so take it or leave it. And yeah, so I am aware that when I go to Vietnam, I will have to do a quarantine, and I'm okay with that. I'll have to abide to all of their rules, COVID restrictions, and so forth, and I'm fine with that. And Vietnam, to my understanding, has taken coronavirus very seriously, and they've handled it very well from a health perspective, so that makes me feel comfortable. And yeah. So basically, I'm really excited. My employment is I will be going to, just hoping for the best, to be honest, going with the flow, because they are being more than kind enough to help sponsor me to enter, and that is a blessing. So the least I can do is just go with the flow and see what school I'll be at. I know I'll be at a certain company, but they have centers all around Vietnam. So the least I can do is be like, okay, all right, I guess put me where you need me. There is a little bit of preference on age group. I'll be able to give them that preference for me, but they're still gonna put me where the need is. But a lot of the language centers, it will be kids as well, so yeah, but it's gonna be a new experience for sure. I mostly have experience with the little ones, but I know I'm going to be getting experience with the older ones, so that'll be a new adventure. I'm sure I will be. I don't actually know quite yet, so we'll see what happens. But that's kind of what's going on with the whole employment process for going to Vietnam. I've been speaking with this recruiter for so long, so bless her heart, because I mean, she's been amazing, and she's made me feel so comfortable throughout this whole entire process to where I feel comfortable doing all this, and so that's just fabulous. And I'm so hopeful for what is to come. I mean, I'm so excited. It's so hard to contain my excitement. And I'm so looking forward to this new adventure, teaching, going back to that, and then just being in Vietnam. I mean, I don't even know. I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Wow. Yeah. Also, what I've been doing to prepare myself, besides just the boring document stuff, is I've been watching tons of YouTubers about what Vietnam is like, blah, blah, blah. Language apps and stuff to get ready for that. So yeah, I'm preparing myself to move abroad again, and I'm so happy. So woo 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 woo, Vietnam, here I come. Woo woo. Yeah. So yeah, well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for my journey of going to Vietnam. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, do all the things. I'm Wandering Worldwide with Liz, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.